And barely a week after Brazil's leftist president Lula da Silva was sworn into office for his third non-consecutive term, supporters of his far-right opponent stormed the government buildings in the country's capital. Order has been restored and hundreds were arrested or detained. Brazilian officials have described the attacks as terrorism and a coup. Jared Hill has more on the incidents which recalled the January 6th U.S. Capitol assault.
These were the dramatic scenes from Brazil Sunday. Thousands of supporters of the country's far-right ex-president, Jair Bolsonaro, stormed the Congress, Supreme Court, and presidential palace in Brasilia. Some of the demonstrators called for a military intervention to restore Bolsonaro to power. All three buildings were mostly empty at the time of the hours-long attacks. Security officials have taken back control of the facilities, and hundreds of rioters have been arrested. Brazil's newly sworn-in president, Lula da Silva, and other officials toured the damage late Sunday. Earlier, Lula criticized the lack of security that allowed the riots to happen. He vowed to punish those responsible and place the blame on Bolsonaro, who left the country for Florida before Lula's swearing in last week. On Twitter, Bolsonaro denied Lula's condemnations of him and gave support for peaceful demonstrations, but added that invading buildings is unlawful. For many Americans, the attack in Brazil drew close parallels to the January 6th storming of the U.S. Capitol by pro-Trump supporters 2 years ago.
We've seen the rise of populism in global democracies around the world, from the UK to India to Brazil to the United States to Mexico, and we've seen it in the past.
President Biden called the situation, quote, outrageous while visiting El Paso, Texas on Sunday. And on Twitter, he condemned, quote, the assault on democracy and the peaceful transfer of power in Brazil. Jared Hill, CBS News.